Welcome back to Nano Education. In this video, we'll be building a Firebase blog. So this blog is going to cover the majority of the Firestore commands that you can send. So it will be the get command, the set command. So you'll learn how to do all that. You'll learn how to get your posts from Firebase database, Firestore. And you will also learn how to create posts. So I'm going to show you guys. So basically how it works is that you have basically a couple posts are displayed here. Then when you go on create, we can type in the author. So we'll say John Doe. Our post title will be welcome to this tutorial. And then our post content, we can be like, this is a wonderful tutorial brought to you by Nano Education. Alright? And then we can just set a date. So we'll say 22/22/22, and we click on post. Once we go here, boom, welcome to this tutorial. So this is how exactly it will work. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys on Firebase. So inside of Firebase, you want to go ahead and click on get started. So once you reach the console, once everything loads, you want to click on add a project. And you can name your project anything. So I'm going to name it Firebase-blog-2. Alright? And let's click on continue. So it's going to ask us if we want Google Analytics. We don't need them. Just fine. And it'll start creating our project. So as it loads creating your project. So basically, what Firebase basically provides us is that the only main functionality we want for Firebase at the moment will be the Firestore. And Firestore is a database of Firebase. I do have a tutorial on how Firestore actually works, which basically Firestore is based on collections and documents, and I have basically explained everything in that tutorial, so please go check that out if you're confused about Firestore. But trust me, that tutorial will come in so much. It'll come so handy once you start using Firestore for your daily projects. Let's go on continue. Now, one thing we want to go ahead and do is click on this web icon. If we want to give it a nickname, so let's call it web app. And then we click on register app. So as it registers that app, it will soon give us a Firebase SDK. Alright? So what you want to go ahead and do is what we'll go ahead and do is just leave it here for now. Alright? Leave this page and go ahead and head over to your text editor. Alright? And then inside any directory you would like, go inside so I'm going to go inside my production directory. And you want to create an index.html file. Here you can just use a simple boilerplate. If you're using Visual Studio Code, it's it'll be the explanation point basically. So we'll just name this Firebase blog. Alright? In here we just put it h1 for hello world. Alright? And now what we want to go ahead and do is just create an app.js file. Inside of here, you want to go ahead and paste this, just the configuration. You do not need to have to paste any of this. So this is all you paste in. Now, you want to copy your API key, alright? And you want to copy everything else yours, because if you end up using mine, it's not going to work. Or if you use mine, it's not going to work, because I'm going to have this deleted by the time this video is uploaded. Because if you have someone's API key, right? If you have this information of theirs, right? You can learn, go ahead and copy and paste this into your own code editor, and then you can actually just use it. Exactly. But since I went ahead and deleted this by the time you're seeing this, you're not going to be able to use it. So basically, we're not going to make this app made available for production, because you do not want to expose this information like that, just like I said. I'm going to have to delete this right after this. Because if you expose your information like this, anyone can literally copy and paste this into their own code editor and then send false spam content to it. Or they can play with your database, whatever they want. So, that's why whenever you are, doing a production application, this API key will come through a secure connection. Alright, we'll talk about what the secure connection through, like HTTPS, probably most likely through a database or a tunnel or something. So we'll talk about that in a future video. So inside of our index.html file, we can go ahead and start adding our scripts. Alright, so inside your index.html file, we're going to add some scripts, alright? What I mean by script is links to JavaScript files. So, the first script that we're going to be adding in here would be our Firebase scripts, alright? So, let me just create a comment for Firebase. So, let me zoom in this for you guys, and then let's close out our file explorer. So, inside our Firebase script, we want to go ahead and do a script source, alright, source. And the source I will be linking to is https://www.gstatic.com/firebasejs /6.6.2/firebase-app.js. Alright, that's our first script. Then our second script is going to be literally a very similar one to this. So we're going to do https://www.gstatic, so gstatic.com/firebasejs /6.6.2/firebase-firestore.js. Alright? Then we're going to have our Bootstrap dependencies. Alright? So if we go, so we're going to say Bootstrap. So these are the ones that Bootstrap needs in order to operate, but we're going to be using the Bootstrap theme. So you can actually get these out of Bootstrap's website, but I'm going to go ahead and paste them here to save some time. And then we want to link our app.js. Alright? So once that is linked, let's go ahead over to our app.js. Actually, let's going to do some markup. I think that would be better. So, there's actually not much markup to do. It's actually very simple markup today. So, we're going to start off. So, we're going to get rid of this h1. Instead, we're going to have a nav with the class of navbar-expand-md. Then another class of navbar-dark, and then fix-top, and then bg-dark. Alright, so that is our navbar. But one thing I forgot is our Bootstrap Cdn. So, basically, all we have to do is need to paste in the Cdn for our Bootstrap. This is our style sheet for Bootstrap. And inside of our nav tag, let's go ahead, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is just paste in this apparently long content for just the title, just for the brand and for the button. So, this is the button used for mobile devices, alright? So, let me explain to you what this code means. So, this A is our, basically like our Firebase blog. This is like a nav bar. This is the branding. So we're just going to say Firebase blog. Alright? And then this button is the one that is used when we are trying to work with mobile devices. Alright? This is a mobile device button. Now, I'm going to copy this div for you guys. So all of this is on the source code in the description below. Alright? So I'm just going to paste this in. So basically, what does this do? That's, you may ask. So this is the one. So whenever that button is pressed, so whenever this button is pressed, alright, this code is ran, alright, but whenever we're on desktop side, it's just gonna run as normal. So we're basically saying that's the nav bar, this is the UL of the nav bar, this is the LI, it's the active link, and then this is the regular nav bar. Alright, that's the rest of the links. So it's gonna do our Jumbotron. So what we're going to do first is have a main with the ID of role. No. A main. So we're going to do a main tag. We're just going to have a role attribute. And that is going to say main. Alright? Inside our main, we're going to have our Jumbotron. So get ready for some fun. So inside of our Jumbotron, we're going to have a class with a div with the class of Jumbotron. Inside of that, we'll have a container. Inside that container, we're going to have an h1 with the class of display-3 and in the class of pt-4. So that means padding top. It's going to say Firebase Blog. So Firebase, if I can spell, blog. Alright? So what did I do wrong again? So after that H1, we're gonna have a P with the class of like Lorem25. Alright? Then below that, we're gonna have another paragraph, which inside of that, we're gonna have an A with the class of btn, then the class of btn primary, and then a class of btn lg. Right? It's gonna go nowhere, doesn't have to, it's just part of it, and we'll say learn more. And then we want an ampersand, RAQUO. Alright? Alright, so we did majority of our markups. So now all we have left is the fun part. Alright? So, this is the very fun part. We're going to have a container with the class, and then inside that container, we're going to have a div with the class of row and an ID of post-collection. Alright? Inside of that, we're just going to have an HR and leave it blank. Alright? Very simple. Right now, our main is actually left. Let me just copy the main and put it down here. So hopefully our markup looks just like expected. So now we can go ahead and head back to our browser. And if you have a live server extension, you can go ahead and head over to it. So I'm going to head over to production, and boom. Here is our Firebase blog, basically. This is the markup so far. I know that there's no post inside of here, but to fix that, we can immediately just create all we want to do is actually create an app.css. In our app.css, we only need a couple cells. We just need a body tag with a padding -top of 3.5 rem. Alright? Enough. I think that was enough. I think we could have added that somewhere else, but it's okay. So inside of app.js, time to do some fun. So inside of app.js, we have went ahead and initialized Firebase. Now what we want to do is just let post collection equal to document.query selector. Inside of query selector, we want to grab post-collection. Alright? Then we want to have a reference to our database, so we'll say firebase.firestore. Alright? Then we want a function of create post. Actually, no. That would be markup. Right now, let's go ahead and do our get post function. So get post. So inside of get post, we're going to have a function of get post, which is going to have a db.collection. So we're going to access a collection inside of it. It's going to be post, which we're going to assign a .get and then .then, which is going to supply a snapshot, right? Which is going to have a snapshot .docs.for each doc, right? We want to create, so then what we want to do is just console.log our docs. Alright, the first thing that you may notice is that we do not have anything set up for Firebase yet. So it's going to head over to our Firebase app. We're going to continue to console if you left it off, but otherwise we're going to go to database. Inside our database, we're going to click on create database. Inside of our create database, we're going to click on start in test mode and click on next. Here, you're going to type in, so just choose your closest location. This is the closest to me, and click on done. It's going to start provisioning Cloud Firestore. So while that is running, alright, what we can do until then is that right after, exactly. So here then we can just get rid of this. Instead, we want to replace it with a .catch. Alright, which is going to pass in the error, and the error, so whatever error we have, alright, we want to console.log it. So we're going to say console.log error. Alright? And then we run get posts, but it's not going to work currently. So after it's provisioned, we're going to start a collection, we're going to start a post collection. We're just going to choose auto ID and just leave it whatever it is. And then we're going to go ahead and delete this document. So delete document. Alright? Very simple. Now we just want to add, all I want to do right now is just leave it as it is, alright? And what all we want to go back to our Firebase blog, refresh, open our console, and I said console.log. Let's just go ahead and console.log our DB, alright, just to test things out. So in console.log, boom. So this proves that we have access to our database at the moment, alright? So Firebase app, everything. So that means everything was correct. So let's gonna head back over here, and what I want to do is actually go ahead and we're going to insert some data, alright? Some data into Firebase. So that way we can start testing of how everything is going to work and everything out. So we're going to go ahead and click on Add Document, and we can give this an auto ID, alright? So we're going to have a couple of fields, alright, which I went ahead and came up with the names for. Now you can change these fields names up, but it's not suggested because you're going to end up yourself in a very terrible situation. So, let's go ahead, and the first field we're going to have is the author field, and let's just say, and the value is going to be John Doe, alright, it doesn't matter what you have. And then we're going to have a created at field, which is going to be a string, and we just put in, let's just say 2019 09-22, doesn't matter, alright? And then we're going to create another field, and we're going to call it post content. That is going to have the value of this is a wonderful post, alright? And then we want a fourth value, a post name, which can also be a string. We'll say welcome, alright? And click on save. So once this is saved, we can go ahead back over here, inspect, go to our console, and why in the world are we getting this stuff? 18 and 26. There. So we want to, exactly, console log our docs from the collection of posts. So we can just refresh, and boom. So we should, indeed, oh, okay, so we just don't want to console log docs. We also want to console log the data. So we console.log docs.data. Then, boom. This is our post we just created. John Doe, author, created ad, post content, post name, which is welcome. Alright, so successfully we've done that. Now, we can go ahead and get rid. So we can go ahead and get rid of this line. Instead, what I want to do is create a function that will create our post. So we don't have to keep on saying document.create element. Instead, we're going to have a function that does that for us. So create post. We have a title, time, and content. Alright? So we're going to let div equal document.create element. This is going to be a div. Then we want to set some attributes. So we're going to say div.set attribute. So if I spelled it correctly, set attribute. And the attribute we want to set is a class attribute, and then it's going to have a class called md-4. Alright? Then we want to set an h2, which is equal to document dot. So if you don't spell document correctly, which I sometimes mess up on, your code's going to screw up. So you might want to learn that. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate that, and we're going to say p. And then we're going to duplicate that too, and it's going to be small. Alright, let's go ahead and assign these values some methods. So our h2, I want the text content to equal title. Alright, because that's the variable we're going to be passing in whenever we do this. So we just duplicate this over. So our small, we want to pass in time. And then our P, the text content we're passing in is going to be content. Alright, now comes the fun part of appending our child. So we're going to do div.append child, and we're going to append the h2 to our div. Then we're going to also append the small and the paragraph. Alright, now we have to append all of these to our post collection. So we're going to say post collection.append child. Is it really post collection? Oh, okay. So post collection.append child, and that we're going to append it to div. So we're going to append the div to post collection. Alright. So that is our create post function. So in here comes the fun part of our displaying our posts. So to display our posts, we're going to do a docs.data, and we're going to do, actually no, hold it. Let's go and define our function, so create post. Inside of that, we're going to have a docs.data, we're going to do a post name, alright? Then we just copy over this 3 times. Post name created at, and then post content. Alright, let's go ahead and see if this displays. So if we come over here, refresh, welcome. This is a wonderful post. Great. I enjoy having wonderful posts. So let's check out our database, and boom. So, it's going to have some weird formatting, I know that. So, I think I'm pretty sure I missed something that makes happen. Actually, no. Yeah, call-md-4. That's what I write. Exactly, so whatever. Once we get more posts, you'll see what it means. So, now all we want to do is the fun part of the form. So, inside our directory, you want to create a create.html and get ready. Just going to copy over index.html, paste it here, alright? So, inside of create.html, first of all, we want to get rid of this active and put it here in this file. Then, I just want to do create, alright? After that, what we want to go ahead and do is just get rid of our Jumbotron. So, there goes our Jumbotron. Yep, so now we are remaining with our main. So, inside of create.html, the main part, we're going to have a container, alright? There's going to be some markup, but don't worry, it's not much. Inside our container, we're going to have a card with a class of margin-4, and then another div with a class of card-body. Inside of that, we're finally going to have h2 with a class of pt-4. Alright? Inside, we're going to say create post. So, now we're going to have a form-group. So, let me just close this out. So, inside our form-group, we're going to have some fun stuff. Get ready. We'll have a label for our author, because that's what we want. So, author. Then we're going to have an input with the type of text. So we don't want a name, we just want an ID of author, a placeholder of author, gotta spell, and then that should be it. So then we want to create another form group, right? So out of that form group, we're going to create another form group. Inside of that, we'll have a label which will say post title, then a form group, now then an input. But we got to give this a class of form-control, otherwise it's not going to be formatted according to Bootstrap. Then we want to have a class of form-control here also. And then we're going to have a placeholder for post title. And then an ID of post title. Alright. So if I go to my create page, looks fine. Alright. So the only one thing you want to go ahead and do is link our custom CSS file. So I'm going to link. We want to link .apps.css. Alright. Now when you check it out, it should be pushed down a bit more. Alright. Very simple stuff. So we have a card. Alright, by the way, it's separate. There we go, we get our styling now. So now so after this form group, we have another form group. I know there's so many form groups. I mean, I've done this. This is my second time doing this. So form group, then inside that we'll have a label for post content, and then another one for post content. Alright? Then we want a text area, finally, something different. Then, so we're not going to have a name for our text area. We're just going to have an ID, which is going to call post content. So we can get rid of the name tag. Then we're going to leave our columns, whatever there is. And then we want a class of form-control. Alright? Simple enough. And then, after the form group div with the text area, we're going to have another form group. So inside of this form group, we're going to have a label for date. and a date. Then inside of that, we'll have an input with the type of date. It's gonna have no name. It's just gonna have an ID of post date and a class of form-control. Alright. Then below that, finally we'll have our input with the type of submit, with the class of btn, and then btn-primary. So btn-primary. And then the ID of submit btn. Alright, there. Our value submit. Actually post. So now, let's gonna look at our form, and boom. So we want to create another JavaScript file. So inside of here, we're going to create a create.js file. So they want to go back to your create.html and just link to that. So we didn't need that many. Create.js. Alright. Inside of create.js, we're going to have some, it's going to be very simple, okay? So this, don't worry. This is very less. We're going to do document dot query selector. So query selector. We're going to select for the submit btn. Then we're going to do an add.event listener. We want to listen for a click. Then we want to run a function. Alright? So the inside of function, we're going to grab all of our stuff. So we're going to say post author is equal to document dot query selector. Right? Selector. And we're going to select for the author. And then dot value. Alright, not node value, value. Then you want to just put this in 2 times each. And we're going to have post title. We're going to connect to post title. Then we're going to have post content. So then we're going to connect to post content. And then we're going to have post date. And then that's going to connect to post date ID. Alright. Now we want to have an if statement, quick if statement. And when I mean if, quick if statement, I'm not right. So post author is equal, if it's equal to blank, or post title is equal to a blank input, and or post content is equal to a blank input. Hold it. Or, hold it, I can't type. Then we're going to have a post date if that is equal to a blank one. If that is, right, if that is the case, we want to alert fields empty. Alright? Otherwise, we're gonna do we're gonna attack our collection, alright? We're gonna connect to it. Then we're gonna set a new doc, alright? With the set takes a parameter. So it's gonna take some very simple parameters. So author is equal to post author. Created at is equal to post date. Post name is equal to post title. Then post content is equal to post content. Alright? So that should indeed be the end for our JavaScript file. So let's gonna go back here. Alright? And let's gonna create form. And let's just try to post. So this button. Let's check any errors. I hope not. Console, yes we do. Invalid shorthand initializer, 16. And then type error, 51. app.js. At create post. Append child, cannot read that. So 51. So it's going to visit our text editor. App.js, 51. So it literally says 34. 34. Okay, so post collection does not look to be active. Query selector post dash collection. Let's go and check here if that exists. And where's post collection? There we go. Let's just copy this. And then go to app.js, paste that here. Then we're going to copy that and just paste that here. So append child. Is that the right thing? Collection.append child. There. So I wonder why it doesn't want to work. Invalid shorthand. Query.js 16. 16. Oh. Now that should be fixed. Cannot read property of append child. Oh, okay, because we're on create.js and it can't find it. Okay, that makes more sense. So let's just try to post. Oh, it feels empty. Alright. Author, let's just say nano, test, and then test. And we'll just choose a random date of today. Post. We go to our home page. Boom, test, all exists. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next one.